Pyra and Mythra are coming to Smash. Yep, it's true. The Xenoblade series is finally getting another rep, and they're on track to release sometime in March. I'm very excited for these characters, so I couldn't help but dig deep into their reveal trailer to see what goodies I could find. And oh, did I find some great stuff. But I'll start out with perhaps the most important thing, their moveset. Also, if you haven't seen the reveal trailer yet, I'd recommend watching that first. Anyway, let's take a look at Pyra's attacks. We get a look at her down air, which is a wide sword swing. Looks very solid. We also get a glimpse of her forward air. In fact, we get to see it in action against Sonic. Ouch. Next, we have her neutral air. She spins her sword in a circular motion, which kinda reminds me of Palutena's neutral air. But there's a big difference here. This move seems to only be a single hit upon impact, considering it immediately launches Mewtwo. Then we have a quick look at her back air. She actually starts this attack from beneath her, then continuing the swing to the back. We even get to see her up air, which is very straightforward. She just swings her sword above. Well, that accounts for all of her air attacks. Next, we have her up tilt. She starts the attack from behind, then swings her sword above and to the front. The amount of coverage here looks very nice. We also see her forward smash, which is a single powerful sword strike. The startup looks very quick, so that's nice. This next attack, honestly, I couldn't figure this one out for sure. Rex makes a comment about Pyra powering up her smash attack with fire. So is this just a weak version of her forward smash? And this is the spicy taco goodness you want? If that's the case, will this apply to all of her smash attacks or just this one? I mean, this definitely looks like a smash attack, but I could be wrong. Anyway, next up is her down smash. She attacks on both sides of her, and I'd imagine getting hit by the leg portion of this attack will likely be weaker than getting hit on the sword end. Okay, next we'll go over the special moves we see, with almost all of them being directly based on her blade special attacks from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. First up is Flame Nova, which I believe to be her neutral special. It looks to be a very potent multi-hit attack, which also covers her from both sides. The beginning part of the animation we see makes me wonder if it can be charged up to deal extra damage. The question is whether you'd be able to bank the charge or not. Compared to the version we see in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the animation of the fire was definitely changed to fit more in line with a Smash Bros. Attack. But Pyra's movements are a very faithful recreation of what we see in her home game. Next is Prominence Revolt, which I think is her up special. She leaps into the air and then dives back into the ground, causing a fiery explosion. It happens very quickly, but at the very beginning we can see that as she leaps into the air, she does a slash with her sword, similar to something like Marth or even Shulk's up special. When compared to the original attack it's based on, it's done very well. However, the rising sword slash at the start of the move is a new addition for Smash. We also see Blazing End, which I assume is her side special. She tosses her sword forward, which then, seemingly upon contact with an opponent, will strike them several times before doing a finishing blow. This attack is actually quite different from the original move it's based on. In Xenoblade 2, Pyra starts with doing a few sword swipes, then tosses her sword into the air, which flies forward to strike the enemy. In Smash, they definitely simplified it to make it purely a long-range projectile-ish attack. I do have one question though. So in Xenoblade 2, after the attack ends, the sword then flies back to Pyra. In the Smash trailer, we see Pyra rush over to retrieve the blade as the attack ends. So it's difficult to say if it'll still fly back to you or if you have to go and retrieve it. There is a brief moment where the blade glows brightly, perhaps signifying that something special is happening. So my guess is the sword will still return to Pyra here in Smash. Think of it like Link's boomerang, except I doubt the sword will retain any kind of attack properties on its return. I also think it's safe to assume Pyra will not be able to use the majority of her attacks until the sword is back in her possession. Oh, and a neat little detail is that Pyra's body has more of a glow to it during this attack, which is just like what happens in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You really gotta respect the work that goes into things like this. Next, we have her final smash, which is also based on one of her blade specials, called Burning Sword. We don't get to see the very beginning of this move in the trailer, but there's a screenshot on the website that gives us a look at what that might entail, and it's Pyra powering up Rex with a line of ether, which is a direct reference to the affinity system in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Very cool stuff. Well, we're almost done with Pyra. You might be wondering about her final special move though. Well, that's easy. It's the one where she changes into Mythra. Yep, we're technically getting 2 characters in one slot. The website even lists Pyra and Mythra as separate numbered entries into the roster. You can think of this being along the lines of Pokemon Trainer, or go even further back and compare it with the old style of Zelda and Sheik. Switching between these characters looks to be very quick, whether you're doing it on the ground or in the air. By the way, for those unaware, swapping between these characters is a mechanic straight out of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's a big part of the story. Also, if you're worried that this is counting as the next 2 DLC slots, don't be. Just hop over to the Smash Bros. Website and you'll see they are both in a single space, with 2 more characters still left to be revealed. Anyway, you're probably wondering how these 2 characters differ, so let's talk about what this trailer showed for Mythra. There are 4 moves we see for Mythra that we've already seen for Pyra, being her down air, up tilt, and forward smash. All 4 of these moves seem to have identical animations with Pyra's, but with one main difference. All of Mythra's attacks are faster, while also appearing to be weaker. I matched up all of the moves as best as I could given the limited resources of the trailer, and the difference in speed I mentioned seems to ring true for all of them. A line is spoken at one point in the trailer stating that Pyra and Mythra are a combination of serious firepower and blinding speed. So if Mythra is the blinding speed, then that would make Pyra the serious firepower. While Pyra might appear to be slower, she also hits harder. But just how big of a difference that really is will remain unknown until we get more concrete info and footage. But don't worry, there's a lot more we see of Mythra in the trailer than just those moves. We get a glimpse at her down tilt, which is a quick sweep across the ground. It reminds me a lot of Link's down tilt. This next move is obscured due to the effects on screen, but I'm fairly certain what we're seeing here is her up smash. Then we have a look at her back throw, where she simply kicks the enemy away. This next move I'm unsure about, mainly because the footage cuts into it mid-animation. My best guess would be this is her neutral A attack. For the past few attacks I've shown, I'm confident most, if not all of them, will be shared with Pyra, with, of course, the big difference being the quickness of it, much like what we saw earlier in those comparisons. However, do not fret, all of her special moves, minus the special that transforms, are different from Pyra. But much like Pyra's case, Mythra's specials are based on her Blade special moves from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. First up is Lightning Buster, which I'm guessing is her neutral special. She does several strikes with her sword, much like the original move it's based on. It's almost a perfect recreation, however, in the Smash Bros. Version, she does an extra spin with her sword. Whether there's an underlying reason for this is anyone's guess. Either way, it looks like a fun move. Also, similar to what we saw earlier from Pyra, Mythra's body has some extra glow to it during this move, which is exactly how it's meant to be. Then we have Photon Edge, which is likely her side special. And again, here's the move it's based on. It's obviously a lot easier to tell what's happening in the Smash version of this move. Next is what I believe to be her up special, Ray of Punishment. It looks to start very similarly to Pyra's up special, but Mythra shoots out an energy blast at a downwards angle. The sword slash at the start of the attack was an element also added for Mythra, as it's not seen in the original Xenoblade 2 version. Mythra has an alternate version of this move called Chroma Dust, which is based on the move of the same name from Torna, the Golden Country. The main difference with this version of the move is that she'll shoot out a volley of energy blasts instead of a single one. Finally, there's Mythra's final smash. Rex enters the battle and teams up with Mythra to perform Sacred Arrow, which is another Blade special from Xenoblade 2. Some cool little details can be seen here. First off, Rex is actually the one swinging the Aegis to begin the final smash. And while that's happening, we can see a line of ether connecting between Mythra and Rex, which is, of course, like we saw in the screenshot for Pyra's final smash. So that's it for her attacks. But we were also shown a unique trait for Mythra, Foresight. Foresight appears to be a passive skill that activates when getting hit while dodging, essentially absorbing the damage and letting you escape. If that sounds familiar, it's because Bayonetta has a very similar skill called Bat Within. I would imagine Foresight is going to work almost identically to that move, meaning that Foresight will probably only activate when getting hit during a small window of the dodge animation. Okay, let's scoot on over to some miscellaneous things now. At one point, we can see Pyra doing an animation where she's conjuring some fire in her hand. This is something often seen during her idle animation in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We also get a glimpse at another animation for Pyra. This is one that looks so familiar to me, but I just couldn't figure out what it's based on. If anyone knows, please enlighten me in the comments. Next, we see what is likely one of Pyra's taunts. Rex even jumps in for it. I thought Rex's animation looks familiar, and ends up it's the exact kind of cheering he does in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 during battle. Look at Rex, just happy to be here and cheer on his waifus. We also see 2 possible taunts or idle animations from Mythra. One where she looks over her shoulder, and another where she poses with her hand on her hip. Okay, I guess I should point out that she definitely has some jiggle going on here. Look, this is an analysis, I'm just doing my duty. There are other points in the trailer where you can see more of this, but let's just move on. Pyra and Mythra have different idle standing poses. Mythra rests one of her hands on her hip, while Pyra is crossing one of her arms in front of her body. Mythra's pose here is clearly based on her idle stance from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's not all though, because on the Smash website, there's an image of Mythra with Rex standing close by in the background. Background? Why did I say it like that? This indicates that Mythra will also have a taunt featuring Rex. Oh, and hey, we also got to see one of their victory screens. Pretty flashy, eh? Well, I guess it's time to address the elephant in the room. Yes, both of these characters had to get some redesigns for Smash. With Pyra, the biggest change came in the form of new pantyhose for her thigh region. But outside of some small color tone differences, her design is very much intact. As for Mythra, the new design elements are far more obvious. She has less skin showing than originally, now wearing tights to keep herself a bit warmer. And of course they covered up the chest window. As far as I can tell, it seems like this new design was based entirely on the redesign she received when being put into Smash as a spirit. Yep, even this simple PNG was a little too much for Smash Bros. And had to be redrawn. And that updated Smash design was eventually added into Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Torna. So this design really isn't all that new. A lot of people prefer this redesign, and honestly, I'm one of them. I don't mind the original, to be honest, but this newer one just looks cooler to me. It would be proper Xenoblade Chronicles 2 representation without Gramps though, right?
Wait.
This is the new stage being included with these fighters. You'll be fighting on the back of Gramps while flying through a sea of clouds. This stage harkens back to the early moments of Xenoblade 2, where we see the simple life of Rex and Gramps before their huge adventure truly begins. You'll be able to see several of the titans appearing in the background. Gormott, more Ardain, Indol, and Uraya. You can also spot Argentum in the background at one point. But that's not all. The main cast of party members from Xenoblade 2 will be popping onto the back of Gramps while you fight it out. You got Nia and Dromark, Tora and Poppy, Zeke and Pandoria, and of course Morag and Brigid. It seems these characters can appear in one of 2 spots, either on the wooden dock or on top of Rex's sleeping quarters. If you're wondering about the stage gimmicks, well, Gramps moves his head around. As far as I can tell, that seems to be it. The stage does have a single platform, but since we don't actually see anyone interact with it, it's impossible to say whether it's destroyable or something. My guess is probably not. Another tidbit worth noting is that this stage has a day-night cycle, as you can see in different clips of the stage. Whew, we're still going? Okay, we're getting there, we're almost done. First, let's talk about some Easter eggs. Rex is looking for Pyra at the start of the trailer. When he finally finds her, she's actually standing on Final Destination. I don't know if this really counts as an Easter egg, it's just something I didn't even notice the first time I saw the trailer. Next, there's a very short clip where Squirtle is walking towards Pyra, with Chrom standing off to the side. This is a cute nod to a cutscene in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where a character named Zeke is first introduced, along with his little turtle pal, Turters. So basically, Squirtle is supposed to be Turters, and Chrom is supposed to be Zeke. The final Easter egg I could find happens at the end of the trailer, where Shulk is shown talking with Pyra and Mythra. He mentions that he never expected to see them again. This is a reference to the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where Shulk actually meets with Rex and the gang, and can even be recruited once certain conditions are met. The last thing I want to quickly discuss are the music tracks we can hear in the trailer. These are the titles of the songs that play during the reveal, in order of appearance. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a fantastic soundtrack, and this may indicate some of the tracks we'll see included for their stage. These are all great picks, so I hope to see them all there. And that's it. That is everything I could find in this trailer. I don't do analysis stuff like this often, but I'm just so excited for these characters that I just had to. I think the trailer was done amazingly, especially how it appears exactly like a cutscene from the original game. It still feels unreal that a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 rep is actually coming to Smash Ultimate. I haven't been this excited about a new fighter since Banjo. But how do you guys feel about all of this? Let me know down below. You can also find links to all of my other socials like Twitter and Twitch in the info box. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon. Catch you later.